Go to Voch boy say. You need a second. Lemana chayvereya. Lemana chayvereya. Adabrono, Adabrono. Oimo. Lemana chayvereya. Adabrono, Adabrono, shleima. Man levei, Hashem Eloheinu, Alal Shadov. Man levei, Keinu Aval Shadov. Enjoying? Good Voch boy say. Lili Nishmasi Mirosi Rusmas Mordechai, we have one of the most important guests we ever had. He came to visit me last night. Eli Trapper. Get over, Eli. It's unbelievable. Shalom Aleichem, Reb Eli. This guy, he's budget holding. He has gewaltige kashes. And he knows what's going on. I heard him last night. He did okay?
He did really great.
Yeah? How do you know? I'm the one that grades the grades. How do you know?
It's because if we two gain up, the two guys are better than one.
Very good. Shee. We sang songs last night. Gewaltig. What's your favorite song? The MS.
The MS?
Geschmack to the Daf.
Yes, Geschmack to the Daf.
Get over here. Sing. Let's sing together. It's Geschmack to do the Daf. Geschmack to do the Daf. Geschmack to do the Daf. Aha. Ahoy. Ay. It's Geschmack to do the Daf. It's Geschmack to do the Daf. Geschmack to do the Daf. Oy, Eli. Shkoya. Oy, doy. I'm just trying to burn time because I didn't print any emails. And I have literally 60 of them here. I don't know what to do. You just push. Push one, and I'm going to read it. Forget it.
I would have done it.
None of them? My name is Jake Arjang. Arjang. Write to you from Great Neck, New York. I want to applaud the great work that you do day in, day out, and the amount of effort you put into preparing the share every day. I went to Yeshiva High School and to YU. Haven't touched the Gemara since I graduated YU nearly 15 years ago. I think that on the website, there's like an email form. You just put in how many years you didn't touch a Gemara, and you sign your name. Between a large family and home, Baruch Hashem, and demanding job and finance, couldn't find time to do any sort of learning until I was introduced through one of my investors, Bill Gordon, whose son, Jeff Gordon, had visited about a month ago. I was so moved and encouraged by your selfless dedication to the Daf that I had to join and be part of NDY family, so I started with the Maseches Megillah. The kids are so far so good, and Baruch Hashem, hoping one day to finish Shas together. Amen. Soon after joining, I blasted your magic of MDY intro video to my 200 investors, 200 plus investors. Hopefully some of them have joined as well by now and will be enlightened as much as I have been. Can't say that I'm able to understand or follow everything. Joke, story, something's bringing tears to my eyes. Love the Dr. Geller dentist story from your childhood. Tremendous stuff for me, which is utmost hakar satov to you. By the way, I love the singing in the shir. Please do more. In parentheses, and you have a great voice. Would love to Baruch Hashem get my kids to learn alongside me one day. Have a good morning. Our boy say, it's become a citadel in our house. I greet my kids every morning in the same fashion. Attaches a voicemail that my son Yonathan left me in the office the other day. Thanks again and keep up amazing work. We can't do the thing now, but should we listen to it? Stam, I have no idea what it is. I hope it's not I hope it's okay. It's kosher. This is all things that.
Press saved message. Good evening, Jay.
Okay. He said good evening, Dad. Something. Okay, fine. Maybe there's a lot more to it. Should we read more over here? I have no idea where we are. One more. I don't know. It's crazy here. Bencher story. Tesser. Who's Tesser? My name is Yonathan Tesser. I'm brother of Meir Tesser, Atzalah member, L50, top dispatcher from Lakewood Atzalah. Below is a picture of Meir Tesser doing the daf in Miami this past week, 6 a.m., while he's on vacation. We're huge followers of your amazing daf. We watch and learn your chosh share every morning, 6 a.m. in Cal Jackson Pines. Morning Koil or Shmuly, led by Reb Yoel Tesser, another brother of mine, Atzalah member, L67, captain of Lakewood Atzalah. Here's guy learning the daf on vacation. All right. Rabbi Isai, I'm sorry I'm late as usual. All these charts, and there are a lot of them, were all printed Motzei Shabbos. Koilol HaChodesh. Paras HaChodesh for the Koilol is Chayim. Lili Nishmas Yeshua, Arya, Leyb, הכהן, Ben Yonatan, Chayim, the Bocher from Ish HaTorah. And Refuah Sidi Deinu, Reb Shalom Baruch Yehuda, Yidi Leibovitz, Ben Malka Fredo. I don't know the news over there. It's Nervayim. Maseches Megillah, the Davis and Kessler families in zechus, Refuah shleima for Miriam Esther bas Devora. Maseches Megillah, sponsored by Shmuly Hecht, F245, Linishmas Mordechai Shalom Tobia, Zichron Baruch Ben Avraham Moshe Peretz Neriyar. Paras HaChodesh, in honor of RL97, Akiva Teber from Jerusalem to Rebelli's Daf. Paras HaChodesh, Daniel and Cyril Koy, zechus for Refuah shleima for Gavril B'Yom and Ben Tzor Fruma. Jared, I Dunkin. To my daughter Eliana, exactly 2 years ago, my daughter's high school. He gave me two options. To do the short one, I'm taking the long option because I think it's nice. My daughter's high school took a bus from Silver Spring, Maryland to New Jersey for the Sima Shas. She came back with a bumper sticker that said, "We are a Daf Yomi family." So I just jumped in. Thank you for Rebelli for changing my life. One sticker, one trip. Dr. Marc Berkson, in honor of my wife, Varda, on the occasion of her birthday. Thank you for being such an amazing wife and mother. Anonymous. He says more. Wife, but I can't read it here. Anonymous, Refuah shleima for Miriam Shena Bas Gittel, Shmuel David Ben Chana, and Chava Sarah Bas Rachel. Rabbi Isai, today's Daf Chof. And we are holding in middle of a sugya, B'mai Oy Kimta, like 10 lines from the bottom. So just do a quick review. Our Mishnah tells us that if the Balkaira can't hear the Megillah as he's laning it, because for whatever reason he happens to be deaf, but he could speak, not Yaitza. So we finished off on Friday saying that our Mishnah could go, at this point, we only have two shitas. And we have here, if you remember, we have by Kriya Shema, we're going to get into it, there are three shitas. That's the end of the sugya, that there's three shitas. Right now we only have two. And we're trying to figure out who does our Mishnah go according to. Our Mishnah that says that Lo Yishmi Lo Neshoma Aleichem. I forgot to ask you your name. What's your name? From David Katz from Modi and Neshoma Aleichem. Welcome. I was so excited about Eli. You can understand. He's been here in Israel for 3 months. He's a star on Zoom. He's the guy that makes me go to Shabbos on time every day. Yeah? And he's been here for 3 months and he hasn't been here. So Baruch Hashem, finally. Okay, I have to calm down for my excitement there. So we have, we are holding by a Megillah that you can't hear. And we have a similar machlokes by Kriya Shema. A person says Kriya Shema and doesn't hear himself. Happens every day, right? We do this every day. Some of us whisper, some of them just look at the siddur. It's preferable to hear the words coming out of your ears. So now, who does our Mishnah go according to? That says you're not yaitza? So Gemara at the end says that it goes according to Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda is going to be of the opinion that b'di'evid you're not yaitza. When the Mishnah says you're not yaitza, it doesn't mean, you got to do it again. It just means you shouldn't do it. The cheresh shouldn't be reading the Megillah for everybody. And if he does, you're yaitza, but only b'di'evid. That's where the Gemara is holding when we finished off on Friday. So Nachum, we just see over here, we're going to cheat a little bit. We have here 3 shitas in Kriya Shema, not hearing the Kriya Shema. According to Meir, yaitza 100%. L'chatchila, you don't have to hear it. According to Rabbi Yosi, you're not yaitza at all, 0, red. And according to Rabbi Yehuda, you're in the middle, b'di'evid yaitza. What we're going to be seeing today is very, very interesting. We're going to have 3 cases today. Truma, these things don't worry about for now. Truma, Birkas Hamazon, and Megillah. Megillah we're discussing, that's our Mishnah. All 3 cases of you didn't hear what you were saying. You said something, you didn't hear it. And they're a contradiction. One place it says you're yaitza 100%. The other place says you're not yaitza at all. By Megillah, you're not yaitza at all, that's our Mishnah. And by Birkas Hamazon, somewhere in between. And the Gemara says at the end that it lines up. If you want to figure it out, it goes, each one is going to be according to another Manda Amar in Kriya Shema. The one that says Kriya Shema yaitza l'chatchila is going to say by, wrong place, sorry, this guy. This lines up like this. The top. Remeir says that Kriya Shema yaitza, he's going to say by Truma, the brach of Truma, yaitza even if you don't hear at all. The Megillah, our Mishnah, it's not so much the maskana, but it's a b'di'evid thing. Birkas Hamazon is also b'di'evid, it's in between. Let's see it inside. Says the Gemara. So b'mayo kimta, how do you explain our Mishnah? Yeah, everybody have it besides me? It's like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 lines from the bottom in my Gemara. B'mayo kimta. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol niyeh b'dvaroi. Ki Rabbi Yehuda b'di'evid. So you're saying that Megillah, you're yaitza b'di'evid. When the Mishnah says you're not yaitza at all, it means you're not yaitza l'chatchila. But b'di'evid you are yaitza. In the first place, l'chatchila you're not yaitza. B'di'evid, after the fact. That's our case. A person who's deaf, because again, in Shas, deaf means deaf mute. He can't hear, he can't, not in our case. It's a special case of a person who could speak, but can't hear. So here we go. You see right over here, Truma. We're talking about the Rabbanan part of Truma, not when you have produce, you take 2%, you give it to the Kohen. That part, forget about. That's the Raisa. To say the bracha, that's the Rabbanon. And if a person who's completely deaf says the bracha, what's the halacha? Green. Yaitza l'chatchila. Now we have a problem. Mani. You just finished off telling me that Megillah is b'di'evid. It's not so good. So how come over here it's green? Why is it when it comes to Truma it's 100% good? If we talk like this, if we go to this chart right over here, it's a little better. Truma. This is Truma. The green on this chart right over here, Truma. Who does it go according to? Now, we don't have this Shita, Rebbe Meir, yet. It's hidden. We don't know about it. We don't know. All we have is 2 Shitas. We have Rebbe Yehuda b'di'evid is Yaitza, Rebbe Yosi b'di'evid is Lo Yaitza. So now you can understand the problem. How does this green line up? Doesn't line up with the red, because the red says no good. It doesn't line up with blue, because blue is pariv. It's not such a good idea. And it says over here that Truma, I can make the bracha a cheresh. Somebody doesn't hear, I can make the bracha, no problem. L'chatchila, give a cheresh guy to make the bracha. Why not? So what's the pshat? So we have to change things around a little bit. Velomai Rabbi Yehuda v'afilu l'chatchila. So now I got to go to Rabbi Yehuda. What was under here before? Okay, no. I'm going to say this is Rabbi Yehuda. Truma l'chatchila goes according to Rabbi Yehuda. But that doesn't fit with our Mishnah. So who's our Mishnah that says you're not yoitz at all? Must be Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi says you're not yoitz at all. We try to stick it in and say even according to Rabbi Yehuda, our Mishnah could go according to Rabbi Yehuda. Okay, so we can't say that now. Why can't we say it? Because if we say that our Mishnah goes according to Rabbi Yehuda, then how do we explain Truma? Truma says it's 100% mutter. And we only have two shitas. 100% bad, 100% good. A second ago we had Parav and bad. So it can't be Parav anymore because Truma is 100% good. So we take the sheet of Rabbi Yehuda and flip him from Parav to 100% good. And Megillah, we only have two cases so far. Megillah that says you can't use a cherish, can't, so be Rabbi Yossi. Before yesterday we tried to shtup it in, like say, it's talking about a b'di'evet. B'di'evet you can't. No, we're not going like that. Okay, let's look at Chila. Okay, so that's going to leave us with another problem. If you only have two shitos, one that says green 100% good, one that says red 100% no good, Birkas Hamazon to say benching and not to hear what you're saying, we have a brisa that says it's parav, but we don't have a shita that says parav anymore. We have a shita that's 100% good, 100% not good. So where does Birkas Hamazon fit in? What's the answer to that, Rabbi Isai? That there's a third shita. Once we know that there's three separate shitas, everything fits in perfectly. One place is 100% good, one place is 100% bad, and Birkas Hamazon is another man d'amar. Here, that's a b'di'evet. You should not do it. Lo yevarach. V'im birach. After the fact, yotza. Don't bench again. You're yotza. Mani. Lo Rabbi Yehuda. V'lo Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yehuda says it's 100% good. Rabbi Yossi says 100% no good. Where do you get the parav, the blue? You could bench according to Rabbi Yehuda without hearing a word. Rabbi Yossi. Top of Amud Aleph. Now the Gemara goes back. When we're talking about Toirem, Truma right over here, Rabbi Yehuda. So who's benching? Hadi Rabbi. Rabbi Yehuda holds Truma. You could make the bracha without hearing a word. His Rebbe, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Let's see if we have it here. I'm going to pull this off for a second now. Good. It goes according to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. That's his Rebbe. So we have another shita. We just introduced a third shita. Now we have Parav. Here's Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. You should lechatchila hear every word you're saying in Kriyashma. Shenemar Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Hashemah Lo Zechor B'Asher Adonai Zim Bicha. You should hear every word you're saying. But if you don't, what's the halacha? B'di'evet yaitza. So it's the in-between shita. That's Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Rabbi Meir Oimer. And now we have Rabbi Meir, we're introducing him for the very first time. Asher Noich Mitzav Chayom Alav Avecho. Achar Kavonas Halev, Hein Advarim. So Rabbi Meir here, in Kriyashma, it's all about the kavanah in your heart. You don't have to hear the words according to Rabbi Meir. So here's Shittas Rabbi Meir, here's Shittas Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, here's Shittas Rabbi Yossi in Kriyashma. Says the Gemara, now that I have three shitas, you could even say the Rabbi Yehuda holds like his Rebbe. And the Mishnah, now we're going back. The Mishnah, Megillah, is going to hold b'di'evet, you're not yoitz. B'di'evet, sorry, this shouldn't be here. Let's do this. I thought about it. We're going to go like this. Boof. Here, I just covered this. So now it says, b'di'evet your yaitza. So our Mishnah, listen to this. Very simple. We're going to say our Mishnah goes according to Rabbi Yehuda, and it's a b'di'evet thing, b'di'evet your yaitza. What else? What about Toirem? That your yaitza 100%. That goes according to Shittas Rabbi Meir. So we have b'di'evet your yaitza, b'di'evet b'lechatchila you're not. That's in Megillah, that's our Mishnah. And don't ask me a question from Truma because that's Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir, and finished, end of the story. So at the end of the sugi, the Gemara says you could say this. You could say Truma, that your yaitza lechatchila, I can make a bracha, goes according to Rabbi Meir. Birkas Hamazon, that says it's in between, you shouldn't, goes according to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, which is Rabbi Yehuda's Rebbe. And Megillah also goes according to Rabbi Yehuda, that when the Mishnah says, "Akol ksherim likris Megillah chutz mecheresh," it just means to start off with, you shouldn't use a cheresh. But if you did it after the fact, it's okay. That's what it means. Chutz mecheresh. Fine. End of the story. End of the sugya.
Now the blue is also Rabbi Yehuda.
Right. Okay. I'm saying, but Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah is Rebbe. Fine. You could do both. Yeah. Says the Gemara. Rabbi Yehuda machshir b'katan. Rabbi Yehuda says that a katan is okay for Kriyas HaMegillah. The sign of Rabbi Yehuda katan oisi or Kriyasiyah lamala Rabbi Tarfim is getting belud. Says Rabbi Yehuda, let's say he's 75 years old, and he tells the Olam, look, I remember when I was 6 years old, I read the Megillah for Rabbi Tarfim. Is that okay? Is that a good testimony? Okay, but he's a gadol today. Today he's a gadol, and he's saying that what happened when he's a katan? Says the Gemara, Amrulai, ein meviim rayim in a katan. When did you witness it? When you're a katan. You don't know what you saw when you're a katan. Yes, today you're going back and you're opening your memory and you're digging into your memory and you think that's what you saw, but maybe you didn't see well. Maybe they were being nice to you. I don't know what. Who knows what you saw? You can't bring a raya from that. Omar Rebbe, same kind of thing. Hey, look, he could be. I'm saying that. Says Rebbe the same thing. I was a katan, and I read this in front of Rebbe Yehuda. What are you saying? You're saying, Rebbe, that you read the Megillah in front of Rebbe Yehuda. Who's Rebbe Yehuda? Rebbe Yehuda is the one that says that's mutter for a katan. So how can you bring me a raya from that story? Everybody argues on him. Can't bring a raya from that. They didn't tell him, hey, you were a katan and get out of here. They said something different. They said a different svara. They said, don't bring a raya, shalom aleichem. How are you? Who's that guy next to you? More. From? New York. You schlepped him here? Ah, okay, it's fine. Shalom aleichem Allah. Says the Gemara, how come they didn't just say, by the way, you can't bring a raya from a katan like they said before? So first of all, what you remember happening then, it's not necessarily that's what exactly happened. Even if you were gadol, even if you're going to testify that you're 15 years old when you read the Megillah, well, it wouldn't work. Or that you're 15 years old and you saw a katan read the Megillah, that's not good enough because he's the matter. So what's the big raya? Says the Mishnah, the official Mishnah Latzlacha Ruchni for Shimshon, David, Lipa, and Yosef Yehuda, and Yeshua, the sons of Yehuda's Bela. And Karnas HaMegillah. So, Midaraisa we know that the day starts by Alois HaShachar. Alois HaShachar, a little bit more than an hour before Nates. Alois. However, Midarabanan, we need Nates. Ein Karnas HaMegillah, the Kriyas HaMegillah cannot be before Nates. V'loi malin, and you can't do a bris milah. V'loi toivlin, and you don't go to the mikvah. V'loi mazin, and you don't sprinkle the mechatos. If somebody touches a dead person, he has to wait 7 days, and there's 2 times during the 3rd day, 7th day, he gets sprinkled with the special paraduma water. That has to be done during the day. V'chein shimeres yoim keneged yoim loy tidbo. We're already Tamid Chachamim. We know what this stuff is, but it doesn't hurt. It's going to be all part of this Mishnah. What's Shemeres Yom Keneged Yom? The 11 days of Ziva. So a woman has 2 times. There's 7 days of Nida. After that, it switches. We're talking about the Eraisa here, nothing to do with anything else. The Eraisa, the 11 days after the 7 days are all days of Ziva. Anything a woman sees during those days, she's a Zava. Now, if she sees 1 time only, then she has to keep a full day. She has to count a day, and then she goes to the mikveh. That's ziva. That's a zava ktana. 2 days also. She 1 clean day goes to the mikveh. If 3 days, then she counts 7 days. That's what we're makbid today, and carbon the whole thing. Okay. Everybody today is a suffix zava. So Shemeres Yom Kineged Yom. The Gemara is, we're going to go a little bit more, not too much, 1 minute more into it to explain exactly when they go to the mikvah. Kineged Yom Lo Titbol. Acheton Zechama. Can't go at night. There's no night. You have to go during Neitzachama. You could go at night if you're ready on the third day, but I'm saying the first time you can go is Neitzachama. Since Midoiraisa they start at Alois, at Amud Shachar, so if you didn't listen to Chachamim, you yaitza, because Midoiraisa you could. Chachamim were makpid because people don't know when Alois is. You don't see a sun. Neitzacham is when you see the sun coming off the mountain. The first visual of the sun. When's Alois? Nobody knows. You have to go into your app. You have to go into this. You don't know. Hour and chveis, how many minutes? Hour and 12 minutes, whatever it is. Before. Says Gemara, now we're just going to go through pretty simple stuff. How do we know each one? Minola, Domakro, how do we know you need daytime? Domakro, V'hayomim, it's during the day. Ha'ilin, Iskar, V'nasim, Megillah is read during the day. V'hayomin, B'laylalay. As the Gemara, let me have to do with the Refuah ben Levi. Maybe this is a question of Refuah ben Levi, then Refuah ben Levi, Chayv Adam Lekir says Megillah B'laylalay L'shana is B'yayim. You have to read the Megillah twice, at night and day. And over here it says Mefurish, you can only read it during the day. Says Gemara, not a good kasha. Kiktani ad yom. Everybody agrees you have to read the Megillah at night. Just the Megillah reading of the day shouldn't start before Neitzachama. Don't do it by Alois. You have to start at night. V'loy malin d'chsiv uvayim hashmini yimol. It says in the Torah uvayim, daytime. V'loy toiv v'loy mazin. You don't go to the mikvah and you don't sprinkle yourself with paraduma d'chsiv. V'hizo haTorah l'tamei v'yom hashvi v'itkash tvila lahazoya. So you see over here in this pasuk, I do the work for you. Also, what's the Shabbos stuff? It says in the same exact pasuk, Vihiza v'rachatz, Tvila and Azah, all in the same pasuk. Since in the same pasuk, they're connected, the smuchim, and therefore, and it says Bayoim. Okay, so it's during the day. V'chein shemeres yoim kineged yoim lo titbol ad shetan etzacham. Pshita. If you look at the Mishnah, what's the third case of the Mishnah? You don't go to the mikvah at night. You go during the day. And then the Mishnah adds, what is the big chiddush in shemeres yoim kineged yoim? And the Gemara is going to say a tremendous chiddush here. Itzrich. Basically, that's just the style of the Gemara to explain what is a new halacha in the Mishnah. When you're reading the Mishnah, you have to understand this halacha. The way to get you to this halacha is to open up your eyes and to show you that there's a little bit of redundancy here, to teach you this halacha. It's so that the chamino to have a kiriya rishon shel zav, uriya rishon shel zav, itkash lebal keri. Let me just show you real quickly. Very, very pashut stuff. It goes like this. There's really 3 times that a person go to the mikvah. A zav, and a zav meaning not a zav gadol, not someone that saw 3 riyas, but a zav that saw 1 riyah. We had the other week, if a zav, what's ziva? Ziva is something that comes out of the body, it's like a disease. Different than keri. Zav, if he sees 1 time this thing, or a balkeri, both of them could go to the mikveh that exact day. Balkeri doesn't have to wait and count or anything, jumps in the mikveh, becomes Torah at night or whatever. But it goes to the mikveh that day. When? On Yom Aleph, that day. B'yom, on that exact day. Then you have, I'm just throwing it in here, we're not even talking about it, but a nida goes to the mikveh at night. When? Which night? The night of Leil Aleph. Says the Gemara, but don't think that a zava, we're talking about a zava, that's a real zava. She saw 3 riyos. Or even a shemeres yom that saw 1 riyah. Don't think that they could go to the mikvah over here the night of. No, they have to wait till day 2. That's the chiddush. What's day? Day means day 2. Not day 1 for sure, not day 1. And not even the beginning of day 2. Not even at the night, which is the beginning of day 2. They must wait until day 2. That's a tremendous chiddush. And the reason is, because they have to count a full day. They can't do mixes hayom kikula, at night. It says v'safra, she has to count. We learn it from Yelah. So let's see inside how that works. Without this chart, I believe, Mendy, you did a good deal coming here just to see this. Be'emes. Because no, it's for real. If you just read it, it's not explained like that. So let's see it inside. You'll see what I'm talking about. Perhaps it'll be like Mr. Zav over here in green. And these two in the green box are the same. So, okay, green tells me they're toivel during the day. But this zava cannot be toivel during the day because yelah tells me it's like a kimishkam nidasa, like a nida that sits on a couch and becomes tameh. However, Bilelia mias levin mixa shimur betitbal. Maybe she should be toivel over here, but the blue, a little bit into the night. What's Leil Aleph? After Yom Aleph is Leil. No, you know what? This should really say Beis. Sorry, this should say Beis. Mistake. Leil Beis, but it's a little confusing to Americans. Leil Beis means the night before Beis, before Yom Beis. Okay, I don't have a pen. Maybe I'll cut it out. Fine. Now I'll just cut it out. So I don't want to confuse anybody. Leil. I would think that it should be the night before over here. Why? Because it started already the process of being into the second day. Kamash Milan, keeping the Bayis Svira, returning to Daf Amud Beis. Svira b'imamahi. She must wait. The Zava and the Shemeres Yom, they must wait all the way into the second day. Sponsored by Aaron Struk in honor of my parents Josh and Naomi Struk, the zechus Aaron ben Shimon HaKohen, and sponsored in honor of Eli for all he does. Ishkoyach. Now, since we said, since the day starts by Alois, so you yaitza by Alois. Chacham said you should start Megillah reading and everything by Nates, Tefillah by Nates, everything by Nates. Says Gemara Menani Mili. How do we know Alois? Omer Avad Omer Kro Vayikra Likim La'or Yoim. Lemeir Uba Kro Yoim. As the day starts, the first hint of daytime, and that's by Alois. You might not see the light. Nates means you see the sun. But the day actually starts before that. An hour plus before, the sun is beyond the horizon, but it still gives off a little light. When it starts. As the Gemara, so according to you, as it starts becoming dark, that should be night. As the sun starts setting, it's starting to be dark. It's not dark at all, but starting. And what do we know? It's way, way past starting to become dark. Night is only considered night when you have 3 stars. So, new pasuk. We're working hard from Alois HaShachar till Tzeitzek HaChavim. What did I miss? Yeah, we said that. So, v'oimer v'hoya lona alayla mishmar. My v'oimer. Why do I need another? So anytime the Gemara brings another pasuk, so it's very, very pashut. Here, look over here. Pasuk Tezvav. You have to just see the setup and you understand everything. Pasuk Tezvav says, "V'anachnu oisim b'mlacha me'alois hashachar." We're working from alois hashachar till tzeitzek hachavim. Then the Gemara says, "Oh, and I have another raya." It says in pasuk Tezayin, the following pasuk, it says, "V'hoya lonu alayla mishmar v'hayoim melacha," and I work during the day. Says the Gemara, my vaymer, why do I need 2 psukim? So perhaps, yeah, it says they worked. And they worked from Alois HaShachar. But maybe they started working in the middle of the night. How do you know aliyah shachar is daytime? We're trying to prove aliyah shachar is daytime. Says Gemara, beautiful. Toshma v'yolonu alayla mishmar v'hayoyim melacha. That's how I know, because the pasuk afterwards says v'hayoyim. They were working in the daytime. They started working from aliyah hashachar, and it also says v'hayoyim. So you know that aliyah shachar is yoyim. That's why I need two psukim, because the second pasuk explains the first pasuk. And now I know that anything that's totally in day, like Kriyas Megillah, like Tvila, like everything else in the Mishnah, Mila, all starts from aliyah shachar midoraisa. Chacham said, you don't know what aliyah shachar is, so add another hour. So it started from nights when you could actually be 100% certain that it's daytime. The official Mishnah sponsored David Lipo and Yosef Yehuda and Yeshua Bnei Yehuda's Bela. Here's a question. We're going to go through. I don't think this is a record of the amount of charts for one Mishnah Shalom Aleichem, the guys from Yerushalayim, all the guys, Shkoyach. I was just talking to Gary today if we could maybe push off the shir by half an hour. So to allow the guys from Yerushalayim to get here. It's hard for them to get here on time. The buses and everything. Okay, we'll see. I try to drag it on. They missed it. You can't. You missed Eli, the whole thing. It's very essential. I could, what? What do you say? I should just come a half hour late? Hey, the shir is at 7:30. I just come at 8. Okay. You know that if I say the shir starts at 8, I'm not going to be before 8:15. It's not even a chance. He says Yishkoyach. Okay, so we're going to learn Musagim. A lot of them we know already. A lot of them is good to have Chazara. But I have a question. If anybody knows what this is, raise your hand. What does Hagosha mean? Hagosha. What does it mean? Anybody? Not everybody together. What? You? Blood? No, what are you saying? Mincha, not bad. Okay. Yeah, that's Hagosha. Okay. You take the mincha, you take come on, man, the new guy. The guy in the green coat, Hatzalah. The red mask matches his green jacket, Givaldic. Take your mask off for the picture. What do you? Oh, finger. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to see all these things. It's beautiful. We're going to go through Musagim that on Shabbos I was asking the guests. They were arguing Eon versus Kiyas, but I said, listen, you don't know what this means. You don't know what that means. I started saying things from the Mishnah. They have no clue. Okay, anyways, so it goes like this. Kol hayoim kosher l'kriyas hamegillah. You can read the Megillah all day long. You don't have to do it early in the morning. Says Rashi, but wait a minute. There's something called zrizim magdimim lemitzvahs. We have this idea that the earlier the better, but if you can't, so you do it afterwards. But you should be makbid on zrizim magdimim. Now, there's a lot of rate here about zrizim magdimim. For instance, hello. Move back, please. A lot. Yeah, thank you. He keeps on going like this to me. Okay. Zrizin Magdimim. So what about, let's say, it happened to me. I'm trying to buy a Sefer Torah. But I want the best of the best. It just opened my eyes. The Magen Avraham says, if you can get a Sefer today, who's not the best, he's decent. Or you could get a Sefer to write it, but he's top notch. Zakeli Van Veyu. Don't wait. Take the Sefer that's there. If you could buy a Talis, that's pretty decent. Right now, or you could go to Yerushalayim and buy a better one, says you should do it right now. It's the reason Magdim. Those that argue. And you see it here in Eretz Yisrael a lot. Bris Milah. I can do a bris 8:30 in the morning. No, none of my friends will show up. And my wife won't be there either. It's 8:30 in the morning. Or I can do it at 11 o'clock. Of course, you can't do it past Chatzos. That's mamish a problem. But 11 o'clock, a lot of people push off the bris here to a later hour. In America, because everybody goes to work, they do the bagel and lox right first thing in the morning. But should I wait for everybody to show up or not? It's a big deal. It's a big problem. The best is to do it first thing right after Shachar. Zrizim Magdim. Okay, so that I'm just bringing it up because Rashi points that out. Well, the Kriyas HaHalal. Kriyas HaHalal is only during the day, not at night. Now, what's the big kasha on that? I had the kasha. Let's see if anybody has the kasha also. Pesach. Looked around. Baruch Hashem found the Sam Sofer in his Shuvas, he talks about it and he says, Pesach is different. Because the nace of Yetzias Mitzrayim happened at that time. We're saying how when it happened. It didn't happen in the morning, it happened at night. So, okay, that's what he says. Ulit shofar. Tkiya shofar is all day long. Ulit tilas lulav all day long. Ulit tfilas hamusafim and musaf is all day long. Ulit musafim is the carbon musaf. Did they daven musaf in the Beis Hamikdash? But they had a carbon musaf. Did they daven musaf in the Beis Hamikdash? 9. Just for that, it was worth coming. They daven musaf in the Beis Hamikdash, and they daven shachars in the Beis Hamikdash. We had some Mefurish Gemara. We had ulevidu haparim. Now, there's 2 parim. Well, let's talk about par helam davar. The kohen, if he makes a mistake and he tells Klal Yisrael, do this aveira, he didn't realize it's an aveira, he has to bring a carbon. Or if the Sanhedrin says, do this and this thing, this is mutter, you're allowed to eat chazer, whatever, they make a mistake, and they say, oh, this is not a chazer. Let's say they say, this is manein, I'm just thinking out loud, I could be completely wrong. They say this chicken is part of the chicken family, and then they find out it's a treif thing. Treif bird, let's say. So you have to bring a par helam davar. You have to bring a bull. And you say a vidui on it. You say, whatever, the whole thing. Well, a vidui meiser. Meiser is a little different. This is a misl. When you bring meiser, truma, meiser, I don't have the chart, there's so many other charts today. You bring meiser, you have to say a whole lashon. Here, somebody, Rabbi Raza just showed up from Yerushalayim. You see? So, we might have to change the time for this year. 9 o'clock now. Based on what you're coming now. Okay. Beer meiser. Thank you. Where were you for the last month? How many mistakes I made without you? And the vidui that you say on Yom Kippur, same thing, saying the par on Yom Kippur. L'smicha. So now here we go. Here are the pictures, one after another. Smicha is you lean with all your might on the animal that you're bringing. Must be done during the day. L'shchita. I have a picture of that. We'll see in a second. You don't need a real picture. L'tnufa. Oh, Tnufa. I don't have Avi Kamyansky. He did this. There's a video of him. This guy has tzitzis. Don't worry. He's a Jew, obviously. He has a yarmulke. Tnufa is, there's certain things you can do with an animal. You do it with different parts of the carbon. You take parts of the carbon. But you have to do what we do with the lulav. We actually do the lulav, when we shake our lulav back and forth, is based on this. It started over here. You take it and you go like this, all directions. If you're Sephardi, you go this. I have no idea how they do it. But if you're Ashkenaz, you go this, up, down. Okay. La Hagosha. Hagosha Rabboisai is right over here. You see this? Southwest. This is the Mizbeach. And you take a bowl with either, like he said, the mincha, you take a bowl with the parts of the animal, certain things you have to take, and you touch it. You just have to touch. You bring right over here to this corner, the southwest corner, you touch it, yoitza hagasha. That's hagasha. Likmitza, you know what kmitza is? I'll show the picture anyway. There's better ones, but I like this one. It's Maseches Shabbos, I guess. I was wearing a tie. Stick your hand into this bowl, sideways, you go like this, and you take it out, and whatever is left in your 3 fingers, that is kmitza. You go like this with this finger and this. Okay. Ula aktara. I have a picture of aktara. You take the bowl with the stuff, and you makter it. You throw it onto the mizbeach. This is on top of the mizbeach. It's right over here in this corner. That's the big fire. So that's what it looks like, something like this. They had a special room with the wood. We learned all about it. Doesn't have worms. We just learned about the worms. You throw, you makter. You don't have to throw. You put it on, throw. Limelika. What's malika? Rabbi say. Malika is you take a bird, and with your thumb, this is how you hold it. With a certain way that you hold it, and the wing is in through this finger, that finger. You bend the neck over, and with your thumb, you cut the back of its neck. That's the way you shecht certain birds with your thumb, malika. Ula Kabbalah. Have a picture of Kabbalah. Kabbalah is to receive the blood. So you can see if you look closely, this guy has a knife in his hand, he's doing the shechita. this Kohen, this is the Kohen Gadol happens to be, but he's holding a vessel on Yom Kippur, it's gold. He holds it, and as the blood squirts out, he grabs the blood. That's Kabbalas Adam. These are two avodas. There's four avodas. Shechita, Kabbalas Adam. Haylacha would be he walks, and Zrika is this. He takes that bowl with the blood, and he pours it onto the Mizbeach, depending on what type of animal, what height it is. Sometimes it's above the line, sometimes below, sometimes this corner, that corner. That we'll learn Be'ez Hashem in 6 years from now. Ula Hazaya. Hazaya means Zrika, that's what I just showed you. He sprinkles the blood on the Mizbeach. Ula Ashkaya Saita. And all these are things that you only do during the day. Ashkaya Saita, you give a Saita, a woman who was misyachad with another man, her husband warned her not to, and she did anyway. So you give her this water that has the Shem and fire, it has a parish of the Torah, and if she was over, she's going to explode. If not, she gets a bracha. Ula Ariva Egla, one of my favorite pictures in Shas, is Hello, is this the first time you're seeing this picture? You laugh every time? Oh, okay, great, wow.
I like the smile.
Who? You like the cow smile? This is not a smile. This is confusion. It's like, is that for real? Yeah. So Egel Arov is basically if they find the body between two cities and they don't know who the killer is, who the murderer. So they take this calf and they say Yudeinu lo yishafchu dama, whatever. They say a thing. Arifas Egel. It should only be done during the day. Ultaris ametzayra. So we learned there's a Mitzayra Muchlat and a Mitzayra Musgar. Yoi, who gets a Tahira? Nobody answer, only Yoi. Who needs a Tahira? What kind of Mitzayra needs a Tahira? A Mitzayra, say it loud so everybody hears you. Muchlat, you hear what he's saying? An 11-year-old. A Mitzayra Muchlat, not a Mitzayra Musgar. Very good. Because a Mitzayra Musgar is a suffix, right? Mitzayra Musgar is a suffix. We don't know if he's a real Mitzayra, so we put him away, come back in a week, check him out, send him again. But a Muchlat, if he's 100% a Mitzayra, he has to go through a process. 2 birds, mix the blood, there's a little bit of this wool, and then sprinkle like that, a whole process. Now we're changing gears. Now we're going to night. So on the 16th of Nisan, we bring a carbon omer, and that allows us to eat all the wheat that grew before that, all the chadash wheat, all the new wheat we could eat after this carbon, but we have to reap the barley. That you do at night. Ulehekter chalavim veivarim, and you could also put the chalavim, the different fats from the animal, from the karbonos, on the zbech, even at night. You can do it during the day, but even at night. Zaklal. If it's something that's during the day, you have the entire day to do it. You don't have to do it only in the morning. The Gemara is going to say, what the addition is. Says the Gemara. Minola. How do we know that Megillah is during the day? How do I know that that's the Gemara's question? From the answer. It's daytime. So this is a very simple sugya. We're just going to go through pasuk to show us during. Who's that? Sofer? No. Okay. Look different. Okay. D'chsiv. L'kriyas al. D'chsiv mimizrach shemesh ad mevai. From the nates ad mevai until shkia. Rabbi Yossi or Rabbi Yosef Omer zeh hayom asa Hashem halal is only during the day hayom. V'len atilas lo t'chsiv ulukach v'lochem bayom arishon day. Ulukiyah shoyv t'chsiv yom tru yelecha. Ulemusavim t'chsiv dvar yom b'yomai. It says by the Musaf over there, it says Dvar Yom B'Yom. U'Tfilas HaMusafim. Kamusafim Shaviu Rabbanan. Why do we daven Musaf? Rabbanan said it should be like the Karban Musaf. U'Levidi Parim. The Yolf Kapara Miyom HaKippurim. There's a limud. There's Anya Gabi Yom HaKippurim V'Chiper Ba'ad Doyu V'Ad Beisoi. B'Chapar Zvar Makaz Medaber. We're talking about saying a Kapar. B'Chapar B'Yomamu. And the Kapar is during the day on Yom Kippur. D'chsiv B'Yom Hazeh Yichapar Aleichem. So we learn Vidui from Yom Kippur, and Yom Kippur is during the day. Ulevidu meiser, d'chsiv v'amarta l'fnei Hashem l'kecha bi'arti ha'kodesh min ha'bayis by biur meiser. We say bi'arti ha'kodesh b'ayis. V'samach lei hayom hazeh Hashem l'kecha mitzavcha. L'smicha l'shchita d'chsiv v'samach v'shachat. Uchsiv ba b'shchita b'yoyim zivchachem. Since it says b'shchita b'yoyim, and it says smicha together with shchita, so we know smicha is also during the day. V'letnufa, so we kill two birds with one stone. In other words, shchita and smicha in the day. Tnufa is shaking the parts of the animal that you're going to put on the mizbeach. D'chsiv bayoyim hanifchem es ha'omer, and it's also omer. Ula hagasha, the itkash the tnufa d'chsiv v'lokach hakoyim miyad ha'isha eis minchas haknois v'heinif v'hikriv. Okay. V'lemelika l'kmitza l'aktor l'hazoya d'chsiv bayoyim tzavoisis b'nei Yisrael. It goes, Rashi goes through all of them. It brings all these things that have to do with carbon, the kaimens and this. Okay. Well, Ashkoya Saita. Asya Torah, Ksiv Hacha, Vasala Kain, it's called Torah Zois. By Saita it says, Kala Torah. Ksiv Hasam, Alpia Torah Sheirucha, Vala Mishpat. Top of Chof Aleph Amud Aleph. We're just going to go a few lines down so we don't have to be behind the whole week. Ma Mishpat Bayoim, Afkan Bayoim. So just like a judgment is during the day, so too, by a Saita is also during the day. There's a beautiful Maisa of Rav Moshe Feinstein. He was residing on a bezdin that was passing dinim mamanis, and they told the two parties, they said, take the money and put it by another party, somebody else over there, put it in escrow, and whatever the bezdin paskins, that guy is going to give the money to whoever it is. So there's no questions afterwards. No, I don't want to. Put up the money. You accept us as Bayrim, take it, and we'll paskin and that person. Okay, Rav Moshe and then the Bezin, they pass and goes to Reuven. So Reuven comes to take the money, and the guy holding the money says, no, I'm not giving it. Why not? Because this guy came over to me and he said, don't give it. It's not a good din Torah. So Rav Moshe said, give me the guy's number. So Rav Moshe calls up the guy, and the guy says, I'll tell you, it's not a good din Torah what you did. You paskin that night. And it said, I learned the Megillah, Daf Chof Aleph, you can't pass it at night. He's arguing with Rav Moshe Feinstein. I'm the Maseches Megillah. So Rav Moshe starts explaining to him, no, we're not a real bed, it's not a real mishpat, it's a virus, fluorescence, this, that, there's no yoim, a ganze Zach. The guy says, no, I learned, it's not, you can't pass it. I'm not letting my friend give the money. That was then, he wouldn't give the money. A few months later, this guy comes to Rav Moshe Feinstein, the mechutzev guy, comes to Rav Moshe Feinstein, and he says, Rebbe, could you please verhear me on Hilchos Shchita? I want to be a musmach in Shchita. So Rav Moshe said, okay. He gives him, verhears him. Okay, musmach, you're a musmach in Shchita. Rav Ruderman was there. He says, Rebbe, explain to me what's good. The guy's mechutzev, the guy's a meshugana. He's arguing with the Galad Dar, and he knows better than you the Pshat and Megillah Daf Chof Aleph. I mean, what are you doing? He said, it's past Yom Kippur. I'm moichel that guy 100%. I have 0 against him. Now we start a new slate. The guy never asked Mechila, nothing. New slate. I'm giving him his thing. That's what he deserves. And Shalom Yisrael. That's the story. This pasuk. Ma mishba bayoy. No, whatever. I don't know what happened to the money. He wouldn't give it. He's a bigger Talmud Chacham. Well, there's Mishagayim everywhere all the time. Trust me. Well, we're just going to go 2 more lines here. This arifas that you chop off the calf's head when there's a dead body there. So just like kachim we say is during the day, so too arifas egla arufa. Well, the Taras Mitzvah. Dichsiv zois tia Taras Mitzvah biyoim Tarasim. Also biyoim. Should we do more? Let's do one more line. You chop the barley, you count the days, but you bring the omer during the day. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem. Welcome, Eli Trapper. Woo-hoo.